So welcome to the to our second Future Made Clear Q&A, and today's topic is, can the future of glass packaging be climate neutral? My name is Adeline Farrelly, and I'm Secretary General of FEVE, which is the platform that brings together the producers of glass packaging in Europe, representing over 90% of the industry. So we are live today on the second in a series of Q&As that we wanted to organize in order to share best practices and insights, basically, from the glass packaging industry, and share that with the entire value chain. Because we have really been working very hard over the last number of years. Our industry, our members have been working very hard to improve our efforts for the planet, and we want to share what we've been up to with you. And so this series is a way, one of the ways that we would like to do that. So we hope that you would be able to join us for future sessions. And what we'd like to ask you to do is to sign up to the Glass Hallmark LinkedIn accounts and the FEVE LinkedIn accounts. And that way you can keep up to date about what the next topics are over the coming weeks. So our first speaker today is Martin Petersson, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Ardagh Glass Packaging Europe. Ardagh is one of the leading producers in the world of glass packaging. And Martin, when he's not at work, Martin is a sports fanatic who enjoys a wide range of outdoor activities.
Hi, Adeline, and good afternoon, everyone.
And our second speaker is Fabrice River, who is the Director of Environment, Health and Safety of FEVE, and he's been in that role since 2009. Maybe a fun fact, or not so much a fun fact, but a fact about Fabrice is he's the FEVE's technical brain, being the one that holds a master's degree in physics, and he's also a civil engineer.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's so funny, but hi, Adeline, and good afternoon, everyone.
So thank you both for being online today. Very happy to have you here. So today we also celebrate Zero Emission Day. And this day has been designed in order to try to give the world a break from fossil fuels and to generally raise awareness about carbon emissions. And so for the second Q&A, we really wanted to focus on the industry's decarbonisation strategy and what the glass industry is putting in place in order to be able to continue to offer the choice to consumers, to brands and retailers. So we need to make it easier for consumers to make climate-friendly choices. And their packaging consumption habits is one way that they can make that choice. But this also means that we, the packaging producers, and also the brands, we need to change our packaging production offerings too, and to go in a more climate-friendly direction so that we can have a really truly sustainable packaging. And so that's the topic of today. And before I head into the first question, I just wanted to tell the audience that if you're following live on LinkedIn or YouTube, do get your questions ready, and that they will be shared in the comments section. And we'll actually try to take one or two of those questions at the end of this Q&A. So, Martin, just maybe talking about consumers, making it easy for consumers to make sustainable choices, making it easy for them to choose a climate-friendly, sustainable packaging. As a leading packaging producer, what for you is a climate-friendly, sustainable packaging?
Well, Adeline, for me, to have packaging to be climate-friendly and sustainable, it must deliver a high rate of endless circular recycling and high levels of recycled content. Glass is, as you know, a permanent material and always suitable for food contact. no matter how many times it is recycled. Glass is also ideally suited for reuse, which we know is a packaging offering that many brands and retailers are considering.
Yeah.
True sustainability is also about making sure that quality of life is safeguarded and consumer needs and expectations are met at all levels. Glass is a really unique material that it meets all of these requirements. It also delivers on quality preservation, shelf life, health safety, premiumization, and consumer experience.
Yeah, so it has to do a lot of things. It has to be perfectly circular, and also have minimum impact on the environment. But let's focus now on the topic today on decarbonisation. So sustainable packaging needs also to be low carbon. What can you tell us a bit about what the industry is doing to address this?
Yeah, I think we are doing a lot, and it is important also to point out that there is not a single road to decarbonisation. You will see and have seen from various public statements that glass producers are working individually, of course, on their own R&D projects. From renewable energies, increasing recycled content, to energy efficiency measures, lightweighting, logistics, and distribution. As an industry sector, we have two major initiatives that combined together will address the industry's decarbonisation agenda. The first one, which we launched in 2020, is Close the Glass Loop, an industry platform to unite the glass collection and recycling value chain, and to establish a material stewardship program that will result in more closed-loop recycling. Our combined target is to achieve a 90% average EU collection rate of used glass packaging by 2030, which is up from the current average of 76%. And I think this is achievable because some countries already are achieving well over 80% or even close to 90%. Each time 1 ton of glass is recycled, about 580 kilos of CO2 is saved throughout the supply chain. So achieving our target of 90% collection rate will directly address the industry's decarbonisation goals. The second initiative, and I will talk a little bit more about that later, is the industry's Furnace for the Future project. This involves innovative breakthrough technology that promise to deliver a step change in the way the glass is melted with significantly reduced emissions. It is important that we as a sector work on these two projects in parallel to ensure that we address our industry's decarbonisation agenda head-on.
Martin, so maybe we go directly into tell us, I mean, we're intrigued. Tell us more about Furnace for the Future and what's so special about it.
It is really special because it is a true industry collaboration project. We are working as Ardagh in partnership with 19 companies representing over 90% of the total glass container production in Europe. Together, our collective technical expertise and skills will be used to bring this sector-level transition to a low-carbon economy and share the know-how to produce climate-neutral glass packaging. Our priority is to work on the melting technologies that we currently use. We are looking to invert the fuel balance from today's 80% gas and 20% electricity to 20% gas and 80% renewable electricity, with CO2 savings of 50% plus. We believe we can use this technology to produce all glass colors with high levels of recycled content. This will be the first time that so many of the elements of electric melting will be put together on this scale of industrial production. And by adopting a sector approach, we intend to gain the support of the European Commission's Finance for Innovation Fund program, this funding being essential to the investment in and development of the Furnace for the Future.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if successful in our bid for funding, the commercial scale production plant will be built in 2022 with the first production of low carbon bottles anticipated in early 23.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Martin. So yes, it is actually very ambitious, and it's really a transition, an energy transition to electrification. And basically, maybe I go to Fabrice to tell us a little bit about that. Why is this hybrid furnace such a challenge? Because electric furnaces already exist in the industry, and so what is special about this hybrid furnace?
Yeah, we called it a hybrid furnace because, as Martin explained, we are switching to renewable electricity, but we will still keep a little bit of natural gas. So this is why we call that a hybrid. And it's maybe good to remind that electric furnaces are based on the fact that molten glass, or if you prefer liquid glass, conducts electricity, contrary to solid glass. So you can therefore place electrodes in molten glass so that electricity will flow through the glass and will heat the glass by Joule effect. And this is a very efficient way for producing glass. At Ardagh, yes, you are right. Full electric melting exists already in our sector, but it is limited to small furnaces, producing only clear glass, so transparent glass, and with no or a limited amount of post-consumer glass. It's for niche market like perfumery, etc. We don't use that for the big furnaces. So the main challenges for furnaces for the future are the following. First, to go big. The existing electric furnaces are typically producing 100 tons of glass per day, while we want to upscale this to 350 tons per day, so multiply by a factor more than 3. And so the technology will be different. It will no longer be a vertical furnace, but it will be a horizontal furnace, and the technology is different. Then we want not only to produce transparent glass, we want to produce all glass colors, and especially brown glass, what we call amber glass. And this color is important because this color protects the packed product from the UV radiation from the sun. But unfortunately, this color is very challenging to melt electrically because it can cause foaming in the glass furnace and lead to huge operational issues. So we need to make sure we avoid this foaming problem by bringing heat where we need to have the heat. And this is the reason why we still burn 20% of natural gas above the glass melt to avoid this foaming process. We also want to use a lot of post-consumer recycled glass. Martin has been clear, glass recycling is very important for our industry. It is our main raw material today. And the existing electric furnaces are generally not using post-consumer glass. So that's the next challenge. And cullet behaves differently than the virgin raw materials like sand that we put on in our furnaces. So it's an additional challenge that we need to solve with this project. And finally, such a furnace has never been built so far. It will be the first of its kind, let's say. So we need to develop the right know-how to operate this furnace. It's not enough to have the furnace there and to start it. You need also to operate in order to get a glass which meets the requirements of our customers. And this know-how is very important. And this is also the reason for the sectoral project, that we can disseminate this know-how across our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's quite a number of challenges actually that we need to address in this project, which I know there's a lot of costs tied to those challenges. And I guess, Martin, you mentioned that there's an application into the EU Innovation Fund to get funding. So maybe Fabrice, could you just tell us where we are in that funding process?
Yeah, sure. We have indeed applied for a European grant under the Innovation Fund which has been set up by the Emission Trading Directive. So it's a little bit complex, but there is some public money available for innovative projects somewhere. And we have decided to apply for such a grant. Basically, it's a two-step process. First, you have to submit a light application, and if you go through the selection, then you are invited to submit a full application. Just to give you an order of magnitude, for the first stage, for the light application, there were 311 projects which were submitted for this fund. So a lot of interest from industry, and not only the glass industry, of course. So of those 311 projects, only 70 were invited to submit a full application, and it's really a huge work to have this full application ready. But so we are very proud that we have been selected to the full application. So we are among the 70 projects selected. And we have submitted our full application on the 23rd of June. We expect a decision by the Commission end of October, beginning of November this year. And there will be probably something like 10 projects which will be selected at the end. So you see how fierce the competition is for this innovation fund.
Absolutely. A pot of money, and there's quite a lot of interest.
Yeah, a lot of interest. And if we are selected at the end, what we will do is we will create a new legal entity to supervise the project. Martin explained there are 19 companies plus FEVE working on this project. So we'll create a separate legal entity to manage the whole project. And as Martin said, we will build the furnace in 2022, and it will start producing commercial bottles by 2023.
Fabrice, what do we need to do to scale up this project, Furnace for the Future project, and roll it out? I mean, how long, if it works, how long would it take?
Well, to scale up, first of all, we need to demonstrate that Furnace for the Future can work. So that's really the first step. So we need to demonstrate that we can melt colored glass with 80% of electricity and a lot of post-consumer glass. That's really the target of this project. Once this is done, the technology can be rolled out in the industry. Of course, based on this first operational experience, we will already work on the second generation hybrid furnace. And we expect to do that in 2025, 2026. What we want to do is, of course, apply some incremental improvements based on the know-how and the knowledge that we will develop with Furnace for the Future. But we will also look at the possibility to replace the still 20% natural gas that we are still using in Furnace for the Future by a source of renewable energy. It can be hydrogen, it can be biogas, it can even be renewable electricity, but that will be also a step to have the technology adopted in our industry. We need also to work with furnace suppliers to ensure that several of them master this technology, to avoid a situation where we have only one supplier who can deliver this technology. You have to know, on average, we replace 25 container glass furnaces in Europe per year. So one supplier cannot do that alone, and this is the reason why we need to work with all the suppliers. And then last but not least, and I want to be very clear on that point and to insist on that, scalability will only be possible if we can source enough renewable electricity and at an affordable price, because cost is key here. Electricity is much more expensive than natural gas. And so the price of renewable electricity will be a key factor of success for this technology. And this is why we call on authorities to speed up the development of green power generation, but also to develop the necessary infrastructure to transport and deliver this renewable energy where it is needed. This is absolutely key if we want to successfully decarbonize not only the glass industry, but the whole society.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's a lot of criteria around the success of this project that needs to be met. Question over to you, Martin. I mean, is our strategy and sort of our decarbonisation strategy enough actually to meet the sort of legislative and marketplace demands for climate neutral glass packaging?
I think, Adeline, it is indeed an important part of the solution, but it is not the only solution. And Fabrice mentioned some of the coming, let's say, options to use hydrogen, for instance, in the future that can also be a part of the solution. But I think we need to look at the industry as a whole. The first furnace for the future is just one furnace out of total of 300 container glass furnaces in Europe. And if we say that we rebuild 10% of those every year, it's close to 25 furnaces. So key to the wider industry's decarbonization is the successful scalability and rollout of this new technology. Sharing of the know-how from the first furnace for the future is a key part of the project and is written into the agreement of the industry's collaboration group. As I mentioned earlier, there are a number of paths to decarbonization, some requiring technology breakthroughs, such as the hydrogen. So, in addition to the key industry projects like Furnace for the Future and Close the Glass Loop, we are highly focused on decarbonization as individual companies in order to meet our own sustainability agendas. All of our customers have also sustainability targets that focus on decarbonization. So this Furnace for the Future project, combined with our other industry and company-led initiatives, is directly and significantly addressing the needs of our customers as well as the waste regulations.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe just a bit on that, and I see there's also some questions in on the LinkedIn Live, but you know, electric furnace is not the only path then to decarbonization strategy. Fabrice, could you just tell us a little bit about how realistic are the other energy pathways?
Yeah, sure. I think indeed it would be very risky to bet on only one technology. We are facing a huge energy transition. All we know is that we need to decarbonize zero CO2 emission by 2050. But we are still facing a lot of unknowns. How to get there, what will be the support of authorities, which technology will take the lead. So it's very risky to bet on only one technology. And moreover, the situation in terms of availability and price of renewable energy can vary a lot, even in Europe, across countries. So you can have very different situation between countries in terms of price and availability of renewable energy. And so I think it is safe to have several solutions available to be able to adapt to each scenario and each geographic situation. So in the glass industry, we are not only looking at electrification, there are a lot of projects also going on the use of hydrogen and biomass in glass furnaces. The problems raised by these two technologies are quite different, I would say. For hydrogen, the problem is rather technical. The flame is different compared to a natural gas flame. So the hydrogen flame is less luminous. And also the chemistry in the furnace will be changed because you don't burn carbon, you burn hydrogen, and so you generate a lot of water vapor in the furnace, and that could affect the chemistry in the furnace. So we need to investigate that further. We are not yet at the level of demonstration like we are for Furnace for the Future. It's more a question of research and development. Now, another source of renewable energy is biogas. There, the main issue is not really technical. It's more a security of supply issue. You know that when we start a furnace, it needs to operate between 10 years without stopping. You cannot stop a glass furnace. So once a glass furnace starts producing, it needs to produce during 10 years over its entire lifetime. So we need to be sure that we will have a source of biogas during those 10 years. And that's not obvious today. And then last technology that I have in mind is carbon capture and storage, or carbon capture and utilization. But given the modest size of glass furnaces, this technology seems not to be appropriate for the moment. And yeah. I'm not even speaking about its public acceptance, let's say. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so, but anyway, there's lots of projects in the pipeline, but this one is where all the sector has come together to really try to get a breakthrough, develop the breakthrough technology needed for applying electrification to one of the big furnaces we operate in our sector. And of course, Ardagh was the volunteer and the lead on this project. And just, you know, what inspired you to take the lead?
I think, Adeline, we recognize from, let's say, from the start of this project that this is really key to setting us on the path to climate neutral glass packaging and to ensure the long-term sustainability of glass manufacturing, really. And by demonstrating the viability of the electric melting on a commercial scale, we will secure a sustainable future for glass as a material, which is, of course, vital for our industry and our company, and also for our customers' sustainability agendas. So we were really delighted to be chosen to build this first furnace for the future. And it will be done at our glass plant in Ardagh, Germany, where we have a highly skilled team able to run a project of this size and complexity. And Ardagh already has the required electricity grid connection capacity, which is needed for this project. And we also have very good support from the local government in Germany.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's great. And it's also quite incredible that the whole sector, I mean, there's vast majority of glass producers are behind this project, cooperating together to make this breakthrough. So I think we need to finish up. We don't have time for well, maybe we take one question, maybe one question. I'm just seeing, because with the delayed start, I'm going to finish up 6 minutes late. But yeah, so I see there is a question from the LinkedIn chat. So what is the estimated lifetime of the furnace for the future? Is it comparable to traditional, or longer or shorter? And so I think that maybe, well, Martin.
Hopefully the lifetime is as long as a normal furnace, but we are scheduling also for having a shorter lifetime, or at least an intermediate repair to safeguard the furnace.
Okay, so it is shorter, yeah. Okay, now I know there's some questions, and we've tried to answer some of the questions already. There was one about hydrogen, etc. So, but there is the Q&A on the LinkedIn page, and so we will be answering all the questions that you have put. We will answer those questions on that page. But I think it's better now, as we're running out of time, we just finish up. So let me do so by thanking Martin and Fabrice. Really, thanks for your time today. And I think hopefully the audience will take away that this is one of the most exciting and transitional moments actually in our glass packaging industry history. And so the energy transition will be a huge game changer. And I think there was some very good food for thought here today on one of the most important projects in the industry's decarbonisation strategy. So let me just remind everybody online today that in addition to addressing climate neutrality, we have a material that have many other benefits. Its inertness and its recyclability, and that's why we developed the glass hallmark symbol, which you'll see in this page, to basically showcase the credentials of glass. And it is a symbol that's free for brands to use on packaging or on support materials to tell the story about glass. Glass's inertness and its 100% infinitely recyclability. So please visit the glasshallmark.com webpage for some more information. And so just now it leaves me to close today's live stream. We want to remind you that this is the second in a series of Q&As. We will be holding the next third series on the 21st of October. And tune in to find out about how can glass packaging help your product stand out on the shelf. So that's a topic for the next Q&A on the 21st. And if you want to stay up to date about developments in our industry sector, I would really like to invite you to subscribe to the Glass Hallmark LinkedIn account. So that's it for me. That's it from the panel today, and see you next time.
Thank you, Adeline.
Thank you.